my main point is that what makes an exceptional Metroidvania game is pretty hard to pin down, but after thinking about it for a while, a lot of the best things I can think of, like experiences gameplay-wise, are completely dependent on like emergent design from the systems being put in place for the game. And it's something that is completely impossible to
intentionally design for.
Salvatore, this is Jeff.
This is David.
Hi, David. We're going to play the exceedingly pleasant Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Okay. Is it as pleasant as the first game?
Yes. I only played the first game for a little bit.
Okay.
This game is a Metroidvania, and it is one of the best looking games. It's just really good. We're going to skip the prologue, though.
Oh, is it sad like the first game's prologue?
It is not as sad.
Okay, because that was pretty soul-crushing.
Yes. It has a similar style wherein everything looks great, and just like everything just moves. Everything in this scene moves.
Oh, that is so pretty. Oh my goodness.
Got my moves. Look at my moves.
You got
my moves. Okay, I'm gonna skip the prologue. Because I mean, this is on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass either for Xbox or for PC, since this is a Microsoft Game Studio joint, the umbrella of Microsoft Game Studios, I think it's New Moon, Second Moon Studios.
Yeah.
Oh boy, should probably remember that. And put it up on screen. The simple version is that we're going to be lost in a scary forest trying to find our owl friend, our little tiny owl friend who has a broken wing, so he can't escape. So
tiny owl friend.
That's the simplest setup. The actual prologue's not too long, but I'm going to get into the. I am not as familiar with the first game, other than the style, and that I think that the main villain was a large, creepy owl.
I mean, the antagonist, yes, was a giant
antagonist,
owl.
Yes. And it's this owl friend that you have in this one is maybe the kid?
Correct.
Of that owl?
Yep.
Okay. I got it.
Jeff, how do I know more about a game than you? I've literally never played Ori.
Everything looks so nice.
Wow,
I spent a lot of time just hanging out. This is also made in Unity. So being a person that also uses Unity, I sit here and half of the time I'm like, okay, this is inspiring. It's like I can... okay, wind effects, layered parallax, cool like water, and the other half of the time I'm just angry. This is like, come on, it's not fair. What am I supposed to do?
Well, I mean, I guess if you want to have this kind of polish, you should be a team of multiple people.
Yes, I should perhaps have a large team, and then also iterate on a previous version that have a lot of things already.
Just Dr. Manhattan it, and you'll be fine.
Of course. Tiny bit of crunchiness, which I assume is new area loaded.
Mm-hmm. Golly, this game is gorgeous. Oh, hey. Heart piece.
I appreciate that the life cell fragments. You only need 2 of them instead of 3 or 4. Which
nice.
You know what? Just a little change. Change. This is poison. That's not good for him.
I think you're. Oh. Well, death doesn't seem overtly punitive.
Yeah, it's like I can just fall down here. I'll just appear right back.
Nice.
No big deal. I will say that I've only played this for about an hour or so. The one thing that I would say that I am not a huge fan of, well, we'll get to it when we get to the combat. I have a quibble. It's not so much it's not a complaint because it's intentional.
It's a disagreement with the design decision?
A preference, that kind of thing.
Okay. It's
a quibble.
You made a perfectly valid decision. I just disagree with it. That kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, I'll try and meet it on its own terms and get used to it as the combat goes along.
You didn't pick up that health.
That's fine. We will get our money.
Money.
All right, fine. I'll go get the health there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got now. It is officially told me that I've got health now.
Oh, ow! Can you change your color in this game like you could in the first one?
Maybe.
It was a cheat code in the first one. Left, up, right, down, up, 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 A.
Let's see, left, up, right, down, up, A. Does it have to be on a menu?
No, it wasn't on a menu. Okay, so maybe it's... Is
that from the first game?
Yeah, that's in the first game. So I was...
Okay.
It might just be you have to beat the
different.
game first, or they changed it, or maybe it's not in this one.
Maybe unlockable. All right, well, there we go. Investigation.
Oh, you can get a tour. Oh, it's Dark Souls 2 now.
Uh-huh. I like Dark Souls 2.
Yeah.
My first quibble.
Okay.
There's more than one quibble. First quibble is that this looks great. What is happening?
It's a little busy. It's a little anime fighter-y.
Yes, there's a little bit of that with all the particle effects and the dynamic lighting and little embers flying off and explosions, and there's been a number of times where that has resulted in me just getting wrecked by the enemy because it was starting to attack me back.
And you couldn't see.
Yeah, I couldn't quite see.
Ooh, what is that, friend? Wee.
It's talk. Look at this guy. Wow. Wandering toucan, perhaps?
It's not a toucan. It looks to be more akin to like a mix between a seagull and a pelican.
Okay.
Maybe it's some...
a pelagull.
Maybe a pelagull. It might be some sort of ibis or spoonbill, but not spoonbill, but that kind of like an ajaja kind of thing.
I got a quest.
Ooh. You gotta find the missing...
Go left and do the thing.
All right. I wonder what this looks like if you reduce it down just to boundary boxes, just outlines.
It would probably be pretty busy still.
Yeah.
That guy is on fire.
So you can damage over time.
Yeah, he didn't make it. Never do.
Yeah. You know, slime's first enemy you fight in every game. Whoop. That got him. Alright, so where are the shell jumps?
Yes, exactly. We'd have to do some mid-airs to get some
Yeah.
some life cells.
No, mid-airs were only in SMM1. They took them out for SMM2. Ori, what are we playing?
Ori and the Will-O-Wisp. Hey, here's Quibble 2. We finally got to it.
Okay.
In the year of our Lord 2020, you shouldn't take contact damage with enemies. Ever. Unless the enemy is explicitly made of spikes.
Right.
I find that weirdly annoying.
Because it's a holdover, or...
enemies, I don't know if it's a holdover. Like I said, it seems intentional.
Right.
But it's just like every enemy is just an active hitbox at all times. Which I find a little annoying, especially for these guys that run around very quickly.
Right.
you have to be very deliberate with your attacks, or at least more than just spamming.
Right.
Because they'll just attack you, and you'll be in the middle of a particle storm.
So they're all kind of like Rajang.
Yes, Rajang. That last one's a little bit more Odo. It's a little Odo-Garani, but yes.
Well, that's true. I tried fighting him a bunch more times and just kept getting wrecked. So like,
I watched a bunch of cool speed runs of people that are very good at the game, beating Rajang in like 2.5 minutes with like heavy bowgun cluster bomb spam and chain knockouts and stuff. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Okay.
But even the longsword one was like the most beautiful anime dance.
Oh man! All right, we should talk about the game you're playing a little bit more, but
we're having a chill time playing a cool looking game.
That's true.
There's not much to recommend. It's a great looking game and it controls great. So, and also you probably already own it because you might have Game Pass.
Right. It kind of looks like that bird has 4 eyes. Am I crazy? Is that just the feathers moving around?
I don't think he has any eyes visible.
Oh. Okay.
It is, the feathers are just kind of going.
Yeah.
Carry on with whatever you're doing. Look at this transfer.
Boom.
Yeah. Little animation tip there. Having them toss it.
Because that's way easier to animate.
To then try and get a tiny little hand on the little guy to interact with the tiny little hand on the other guy.
Well, the other guy's hand was about the size of Ori, so...
Exactly. Then you'd have to have like a slightly different...
Uh-oh.
With some ominous creatures in the background. You have to have like a slightly different... arrangement for each character.
Yeah.
Like slightly bigger character, smaller character. I appreciate that you put them in one at a time by tapping.
Ah.
Rather than just walking up and having them just magically float at the same time into the sky.
Yeah. Oh, you have an air bar.
I can swim.
Yay.
Not everything is poison. Good to know.
Yay. Not everything kills you. Can you burn that? Oh wait, you don't have a torch anymore.
Yeah, torch is gone. Torch was temporary.
Oh. Howdy.
Time to run.
Yep. How do you make a boss fight when your character's very, very tiny? It's an escape sequence.
But you could also just force you to fight him too.
Yeah. Oh, like this.
Can't really combo this guy, which is a little annoying.
Right.
Because if you just stay up there, you have no ability to get far enough away.
Right. I like how there are a bunch of your lemur friends in the background. I guess they're the Maki, whatever you call them. Just watching you like go to town on this giant wolf monster.
All right, we repelled him. So press extra. Oh, did I pause?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I hit a thing. That took me like 4 or 5 times the first time through, because it's a giant active hitbox. Again, this is a quibble. I would prefer, if you have combat, to, well, I mean, like, give me some iframes on something, or a block, or something.
Give you a parry.
It's really just maneuvering. So
right.
You do have combo attacks, or 3 hit chains or whatever, but it's really just
I assume if it's like the first game, you will get more options, but...
Well, sure, of course. There's upgrades and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. Hopefully we'll pick up a few upgrades here. Yoink!
Oh, like that.
Howl's Den.
Oh, I guess that was Howl.
That was Howl.
And his moving castle. Sorry, that was swing and a miss, David.
We can see all the places that we can't get to yet until we get some things.
The ability to break bones.
Mm-hmm. Everything's so bouncy.
That I don't. It looks really. It looks really cool, but also.
In isolation, some of these wind effects are kind of bonkers. Like these mushrooms are going crazy.
Oh yeah, they're like getting bigger and smaller and. Wow.
I assume that's because the wind effect is like a vertex shader, where it's it's taking the vertices of the sprites and then deforming them randomly to simulate wind, which is why they kind of stretch and warp a little bit.
Yeah,
like this whole situation going on here. It's kind of got a push and pull to it.
You don't
need some keystones.
You don't have. Yeah. I like how he puts his hands up on it.
Yeah. Hey.
He's like,
how do I?
He looks like my kitties when they're at the door.
He also looks like Stitch.
I mean, yes. A much less weirdly designed Stitch.
I guess, kinda.
I mean, I don't like the design of Stitch, so I'm weird.
Okay. I've never seen the movie. My like a lot of Disney movies, my exposure to it is Kingdom Hearts. And that's just what it is. That is what it is.
Yeah. The movie's fine.
This is the Chozo statue.
Oh, hey. Trying to remember if this is what it was in the first game.
You tell me. You're the expert.
Yeah, I've
I think
watched
you worked as a designer on the first one.
Yeah,
I think
worked on. I watched like 3 or 4 speed runs several years ago. I think the last one I watched was Vooligans.
Okay.
Oh, I like that voice.
It's got a classy background to the text. It's our boys.
They were in the first game.
All of these things look so sad all the time.
Yeah, they're very good at looking happy, and they're very good at looking sad. Also, that narrator reminds me of Shadow of the Colossus.
A little bit less sinister in this one.
Yeah, a little bit less a cage demon broken into parts.
Spoilers.
What?
They don't get text boxes. They just have free-floating text. It's part of their culture. I've gained the ability to attack.
Just whenever.
Now use the light. We want to see.
I mean, you can be the one to fill their dark soul with light.
I got hit because these enemies attack you at approximately the same exact time as the third hit on your combo if they're facing you when you start attacking.
Oh, they've got projectiles. Can you hit the projectiles back?
No. Maybe in the future, but not at the moment.
Okay.
Although it takes them a second to turn around if they're moving away. Although it's a little hard to tell because they are slugs. So.
Right.
These guys rush you. Like I said, active hitbox.
They do seem to get knocked around a lot, which is nice.
Yeah, which is, as it should.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have something moving fast, then it should either have low health or, easy to stun.
Yeah, get knocked around.
These are video game rules here.
Right. What is this?
I got a shiny thing. It's a spirit shard.
Oh.
Or I'm sorry, the spirit shards float towards me. So a lot of this is going to be Hollow Knight.
Oh, okay.
It seems I was trying to remember if Hollow Knight was before or after the first Ori.
It was after.
It was after.
Mm-hmm.
So this definitely seems like it's borrowing a lot from Hollow Knight. Now, of course, the original Ori also had, Hollow Knight had some similarities to the original Ori with like the lush sort of like 2D art where everything just like looks great and moves around and flows, and especially the cinematic interactive music.
The hyper-depressive nature of the whole thing, yeah.
This one is a little bit more... It has a little bit more whimsy and hope, but yes, Hollow Knight definitely, there's that melancholy that I think is shared. Mm-hmm. But just having like equipping the shards, the side quests. I wonder if we'll get to it. There's an NPC that actually might have just fallen out of Hollow Knight, but we'll see if we get to him.
Okay.
Also the way that the characters talk. Like in Hollow Knight, they just have like their weird bug sounds and then some text boxes.
I wouldn't say weird. I would say mostly adorable.
Mostly adorable.
It's so cute. I don't even care that it's this weird, like, bug abomination thing.
Mm-hmm. There's like the cutest bugs are in Hollow Knight.
Yeah, that's a statement. It's accurate, and it's so weird.
We know a finder. Guardian of the Marsh.
Quolock.
Hey, we've got a map.
Oh, hey, the Chozo statue told you where to go. Alternatively, Adam told you where to go.
No, these little cute guys told us where to go. It was not the Chozo statue.
Right. I like that you don't even acknowledge Adam as an option.
Sorry, you didn't give me permission to acknowledge him. That's why. We have, it's a map.
Yeah,
because it's a Metroidvania. There will be backtracking. Let's talk about the genre of Metroidvanias.
Okay.
What are your thoughts in general on the Metroidvania or Castleroid, whatever you want to call it?
The Igavania, Metroidvania kind of thing.
Yes. Yes.
If it's well designed and the movement is fun and the backtracking isn't like offensively excessive, like essentially, does it look nice? Does it play nice? And does it respect my time? Then I am all for it. Like, I have played Metroid Zero Mission a lot. I've played Aria of Sorrow a lot.
Just doing some juggling.
Yeah. Why do you ask?
Oh, because I've playing this. I have. I might. Oh, this guy just died. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So I think a lot about game design as I play games. Maybe this is not surprising.
Yeah, no.
And I think about the Metroidvania as a genre. It's essentially a 2D open world with progression usually limited by movement abilities.
Right.
So, like a double jump, a space jump, to a lesser extent, you just get like a key, it opens a door. Technically, that works, but
right.
That's not ideal. A power-up is great if it is useful for traversal, for combat, and for finding secrets.
Right.
It's like the holy trinity.
Right. Like if, what was it, in Metroid Fusion, there was one power-up that was just bad, and I'm trying to remember what it was.
In Fusion...
Oh, like part of it was the 1,000,001 power bombs you got. But
or he's having to think here, trying to remember back to Fusion.
Or am I thinking Prime? Well, actually, all the Metroid games have one that I dislike. I think you've talked about it too. Is the gravity suit, which is we took away an ability and we give it back to you, and that's progression.
Yes,
it's like
exactly.
I don't know.
I would say that that's something that can be annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I mean, I have a different side rant about canonicity of entries in series. We'll do a slight side rant before I get back to talking about Metroidvanias.
Okay.
I was thinking about this when I was thinking about Star Wars and the current bad state of Star Wars.
Yes.
But it's not just a Star Wars issue, it's just a catalyst of what made me think about it, is that one of the problems with sequels is, and it's not like one or two sequels, but like series that go on for a while.
Right.
If you get past a trilogy, then you kind of run into some issues, and it seems to be common no matter what the type of media. One of which is, I'm going to do a little combat encounter, see if I can make coherent thoughts while trying to
beat this weird skunk mantis.
Yeah, skunk thing.
All right, let's hear your coherent thoughts.
Yeah, one of the things that you run into with media that lasts a long time is that the first examples of things become holy nuggets that define the entire scope of all future installments.
Right.
And it's the most obvious and the worst with Star Wars. You think of like when they added, or they did like Rogue One or Solo, those movies that are just prequels, or even all the prequels in general. It's like, what is Star Wars? And it's not that Star Wars is a universe or a world or something. Star Wars is a movie.
Right.
And if you want to have something happen in that universe, it has to have some sort of justification. And the justification can only be from the movie. So it's like, well, you have to have Jedi because there's Jedi. You have to have, lightsabers because there's lightsabers. You have to have, stormtroopers with the helmets that look like the thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, if you want to, The Mandalorian, as an example, on Netflix is great. But you couldn't do that with just something like, oh, I don't know, a Bandalorian, let's just make up a new thing. Or like, oh, no one wants to see that. I haven't seen a Bandalorian before.
Right.
That wasn't the cool thing that was on a lunchbox from a movie that was made 40 years ago.
Before either of us were born, yes.
Yeah, which Star Wars is great, but this is a problem that it affects everything. So in Super Metroid's case, you have to have missiles. You have to have super missiles. You have to have power bomb. You have to have space jump. You have to have gravity suit. Zero Mission is like the worst example of that, where it's like, we'll remake the first one, but we have to have the things that became canon later, so we'll just put them in there for no reason.
Yeah.
And it's like, technically it makes the game like 20% longer, but I don't ever even, it's like when I think of Zero Mission, I don't even think of like the last part counting as a game. It's like a completely separate product almost at that point, with Zero Suit and yeah. It's just such a weird. We double jumping. This is another pro in this game's favor, is that they do not let you wait too long to get your double jump, because it's like, we get it. We know you want the double jump. Also, we'd be sticky now. We get. Oh, I unequipped.
Don't do that. There you go.
Okay. Now we can just hang out.
Nice.
CV has like a cool idle animation.
I think it's also indicative of the things that happen in the first game becoming canon, is like, the things we talk about and complain about with Dark Souls. Mm-hmm. Where
I would also make an argument with Mass Effect. When they moved to Mass Effect Andromeda, they're like, we have to have the stuff.
Well, that was also just from interviews of people who worked on it, just really poorly managed.
Sure. Even something where the sequel is very, very good, and I like it a lot, like Destiny 2.
Right.
You're fighting Hive, and there's wizards, Mm-hmm. You have auto rifles and SMGs, and they're like, oh, we'll add a new weapon type. That's, it's established lore and canon, and so it's you can't really, I don't know, it's like you can't really get something new unless you break out of the entire series and just make a new thing from scratch.
Right. Because people don't want the thing they liked to be too different in the sequel.
Uh-huh.
They're like, but I want the thing I liked. It's like, well, then play the thing you liked, but I want it to look prettier.
We're gonna do some little puzzle solving here.
Nice.
Because naturally, we gotta
Yeah,
push the thing onto a thing, and then we'll lower the thing, and then
Yeah.
Get out of here, slime. Metroidvania as a genre.
Right. Let's go back.
You were saying.
I was just gonna say, like, thinking about the idea of taking the thing that was the first in the series and trying to do something different with it. Like, even Final Fantasy, for all of its, like, trying to be different with every game. Like, there's still things that are always there. There's still weird bits that are always going to be there, but, like, I think they do a fairly okay job.
Final Fantasy is a good example of something that does that correctly. They regularly completely redo everything.
And when they make direct sequels to the things they've made, they tend to be substandard.
Yes, but also pretty different.
Yeah, 13.2 is amazing.
13.2 is pretty amazing. It's very different from 13 in tone and layout.
Yes.
And, like, even 10.2, I like 10.2. 10.2's fine. It is also very different.
10.2 is 60% of a really great game with 40% of a bunch of really bad mechanics slapped on it.
And 100% getting your look right.
Right, that's not the bad mechanics I'm talking about. I'm talking about the bad mini games and the like, you have to have 100% completion. You can miss about 40% of it permanently, and no, you don't have any idea of knowing. You don't have any way of knowing that beforehand.
But it's all okay because at the end, Yuna, what is it? Breaks down the conceit of anime protagonist nihilism. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, your plan is like, our only choice is to sacrifice ourselves. And they're like, no, your plan sucks. Yeah. We're gonna win with friendship.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, you guys have been doing nothing but lying and abusing people this whole time. Stop. Just stop.
So you have your main team of 3 girls, and you have your sort of side background team of the 3 dudes, and they, like, have their, basically in the background they have a JRPG going.
Right, where they continually make, like, the worst decisions they can think of. Yes, just a whole lot of it can't be helped. Whereas in Yuna's like, okay,
exactly,
knock it off. All right.
So Metroidvanias,
yes.
One of the things that occurs to me is that I was trying to think of what do I actually like about the genre, because it is one of my favorite genres, or at least it was, and now I'm thinking, like, is it still? Or, like,
right.
What is it that I like or dislike about Metroidvanias? Traditionally, it's an open, like I say, it's an open world 2D game, so you kind of don't have explicit, like, levels, right? Because you got, like, regions, and you'll cross into a new region, you'll get, like, a cool title card, and like here we have the Inkwater Marsh. We're 38% with it, done with it here, and then we can go up here and we say, oh, this is the Quolox Hollows, could be a completely different area, you know, your Norfairs and whatnot.
Right.
And that's really cool. But then, how does it handle backtracking? That's kind of a make or break thing, right?
Right.
Like, how easy is it to get back to the places that you've been? How easy is it to mark on your map? This one does a pretty good job of just showing you, like, oh yeah, hey, there's a breakable thing here. I always appreciate a game that lets you put map markers. Just be like, especially if you can be very specific, like double jump, and then you just drop it on the map so you can remember to come back to it.
So I take it you liked the Legend of Zelda's on the 3DS, where you could, like, make notes on your map?
Well, I didn't ever play any of them, but I appreciate the idea.
I thought you had played Spirit Tracks.
I did play Spirit Tracks. I did not like it a lot.
I thought it was bad, but it did have that function.
Okay. I was not really into the Spirit Tracks there, but
yeah.
So backtracking is a very important part of what makes it good. Now, it says that the game is saved, but actually the game kind of saves anytime you see the little thing in the corner, so it's not really that big of a deal.
Right.
You don't have to, like, keep pushing to the next save point, which is good.
Which is fine, because that's a bad part about the Metroidvanias in general. Yes.
Yeah, that's just like we played Dark Souls and we want you to go back to a checkpoint, but not really thinking about how that would actually impact the flow of the game.
Except for Axiom Verge. Axiom Verge did it right, where, you go back to a save point, but there's a reason. And it's also almost never super punitive.
Back up. I wonder if there's anything, but no, I can't get beneath it.
I mean, not with that attitude.
I'll just leave it down.
So what is the backtracking
it doesn't look
like
there's anything
in this game? I should let you finish
Well,
your point.
I can't say for sure because that's kind of something that would happen later on. All I know is that I get a sense of exploration, and that's something that I also really highly prize in a Metroidvania. Make sure I'm going the right direction just real quick here. Kind of go up and left, and we can get the keystone here. There's some Gorlek ore. Ooh. One of the things that I really love is sequence breaking.
Yeah.
And I spend so much time... Hold on, let me see if I can simulate. Get out of here.
Yeah.
We like come up to a side of a thing. Hold on, let me see if I can do some juggles. I love juggling these. No, stay in the air. Damn it. It doesn't count unless I do the full combo.
Right. So you spend so much time
trying to find like a... I'm sure you can see like where it could get stuck here.
Oh, you try
I don't want to fall down because I have to loop back around. But I'm saying like this as an example here. Like you go down and around and you come up there and then you fall back down, and I'll just be here like, If I do a jump and then an up thrust and then another jump, I can get extra height. If I do one of these, then I can stick to the wall. And I spend like hours doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And a great Metroidvania game lets you move on from that kind of experience. And a bad Metroidvania, it's not to say that a bad Metroidvania, this is not like the one thing that defines the genre as being good or bad in my mind. It's just an aspect. A bad one, or at least a less good one, would be like, you come to an area and you spend an hour and you realize that you get up to like an area and then immediately it's like, oh, there's nothing there. You need another instance of the ability you don't have. It's like, it really feels cool to find places you're not supposed to be in video games in general. Right. It's sort of like a core kind of thing that I like to find in video games, which is why I'll like spend so much time trying to get out of bounds and whatnot. Right. And sequence breaking is always a thing that happens in Metroidvanias, but I think it's more of an organic... Oh, there's a word for that.
It's not
sort of an emergent behavior of it. That guy is... That's that arc on that jump.
He's got to jump.
Yeah, he's got to jump. He knows how to use that jump. It's sort of an emergent part of the genre. I don't think it was intentional at any point in like the original Metroid or the original Kid Icarus or Blaster Master. There's actually a bunch that kind of fit the same mold.
Yeah, it's almost like a lot of Nintendo games were the first of their kind, and people were winging it with the programming.
Still need another one.
It's like it's above and to the right.
I think maybe we can use our ability to jump twice in order to crawl up here and get it. Yeah.
Weird.
Got it.
Nice. Whee. So I feel like Metroid Zero Mission, keeping running with that, it had sequence breaks in it, but almost all of them were intended, which doesn't feel like a sequence break.
So this is why the design, it's something that I think is really awesome and almost core to the design, but it's also something that can't be designed in order to maximize its benefit to or effect on the player. So like you have all of those, shine spark tunnels and whatnot, and it's like, it's obviously they just kind of like took the map and they're like, well, you get an item here and you start here and you have to do this.
Right.
And then you get it.
It's cool in the Kaizo Mario kind of way.
Yes. It reminds me of thoughts I've had on Kaizo Mario, which I think maybe is tangential to this. It's that as I'm watching, Ryukar and the Beast, as you do.
As you do.
He's going through like Ultra Kaizo World 2, I think, and some other things. I realized that it's not as I don't like watching those as much as just random Mario Maker videos, because a Mario Maker level could be anything. It could be hot garbage, in which case it's fun to see how are you going to figure it out.
Right.
It could actually be good. It could be chill. It could be hard. It could be easy.
Right.
So there's it's not random because someone obviously made it.
Right.
But there's no like set design principle like in a Kaizo level where there is exactly like you start here, you go here, and it's a sequence of events as if you're reading sheet music.
Right.
That has to be done. There's no room for, and sometimes there's a little bit of room for, like, maybe you can miss the jump once and there's a cycle that you can catch.
Right.
So there's an appeal to it by, like, watching someone kind of, like, play music, right?
Right.
Where it's like, oh, that's a good performance.
Like, that's a rehearsed piece, or that's really good sight reading versus, oh, this is cool improv.
Yeah, exactly. And I really appreciate the improv-ness, which is kind of like an abstract way that I would describe sort of a design goal for it.
That's spikes.
Okay, it's fine. Those are spikes, yes. Yeah. And this is poison. As an abstract design goal for like the genre in general. So things I kind of think about, like make a Metroidvania, what would I actually want to be to do with it.
Right. I mean, you would have to make a game that's like profoundly stable.
Sure.
Like, because say what you will about Sonic 2006. It is hot garbage, it is bad, but for what they can do to the game and it does not crash or have any issues, it is profoundly stable. It is ludicrously stable.
Yeah.
So, like, Metroid, Super Metroid, and the original Metroid, like, there are things they do. It's like, so if we do this wrong, we're soft locked and everything's broken.
My favorite parts, this is sort of, what's the word? I wish I was more eloquent sometimes.
Tangentially related?
No, I would say foundational to my tastes in video games and interactive media.
It's core to your... I don't know. You said it well.
Yeah, I think foundational is good. Playing the original Metroid at my Aunt Cheryl's house with my brother. We're little kids. We got the little NES Advantage. Or is it the Max? It's the one that's good, not the one that's bad. Little controller.
Yeah.
And doing a secret world for the first time. Where you get stuck inside of a wall and then or not inside of a wall, inside of a door as it closes, and you press up and down in order to morph and unmorph the morph ball. And it scrolls the screen up, but you're actually scrolling down, and then it takes memory from a nearby area and translates it into...
should you talk to that
the
monkey?
Game world. Yeah, I probably should.
Yeah.
All right, let's go talk to him.
He's cute.
So it's a side note here. And by side note, I mean a side note from the discussion of memories of Metroidvanias and actually talk about the video game.
Yeah.
It said his name was Moki, and this says Mock.
Well, because he is a Moki.
That's just confusing. He wants a trophy. A house goal, or just a fang. Fortunately, we have... we can mark this as our... There we go. A little braver. Find a Howl Fang. Which I have a feeling will be right here in this area.
Nice. All right, so continue on.
So going into a secret world for the first time,
right.
Great.
Yeah, I can imagine that being like...
And just being like, what?
This
or like the minus world in Super Mario 1, be like, wait, what? And even into... Super Metroid, there's a similar effect was had when learning about the the reset glitches, where you can do particular memory corruption or whatever, and then you can play the game over from the beginning with everything reset, but you keep all of your items, is basically completely unintentional New Game Plus. And I was just like, what?
Wait, you can do that?
Yeah.
I didn't know you
so
could do that.
there's a way to obviously memory corruption is just kind of like its whole thing. Like, right. I don't know how to explain it. You'd have to go online, but there's definitely a reset glitch where keep your stuff, but you take it into a new file. So you've got like gravity suit inside the series station or stuff like that. I'm just like, what? Now, of course, if that was just designed into the game, it would still be cool because, we got New Game Plus systems and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But it's like magical because it wasn't.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess my main point is that what makes an exceptional Metroidvania game is pretty hard to pin down, but after thinking about it for a while, a lot of the best things I can think of, like experiences gameplay-wise, are completely dependent on like emergent design from the systems being put in place for the game. And it's something that is completely impossible to
intentionally
design for, to be intentional. Like,
right.
You can Axiom Verge does a really good job of kind of making those intentional things seem unintentional, which is a great thing. But like the secret worlds and that,
right,
where you get the hidden weapons, like that's good stuff. That's pretty close to it. Evokes the feeling of it, but it's also very particularly designed into it. Let's get this guy has a fang. Oh,
Gorlek.
We did it. We played Ori. I think I'll stop playing Ori now. Well, I mean, I'll keep playing Ori, but for right now, I'll stop playing Ori. This game's great. It's so chill. It's so pleasant. It's so exceedingly pleasant to look at. Just look at this vista.
Yeah. It's so pretty.
Look at this vista.
It's very pretty.
Vista.
I mean, it wasn't the best operating system, but it wasn't the worst.
Vista.
So if you've enjoyed this and the other things we do,
Vista. Continue.
If you enjoy this and the other things we do, please feel free to go support us on Patreon. If you do, you can, we'll put votes up sometimes to see what we do next. You'll also get access to Jeff and David Show Medium Rare, where it's the very lightly to not at all edited version of our videos. We love making this stuff and doing that, and like, comment, subscribe, sharing the video, all that makes it much easier to do.
Ori. The
Will of the Wisps.
The Will of the Wisps. Yes, that's the real name. But then the dumb name that I came up with was the unrelated tangent talking about the game design principles of Metroidvania genre.
That's a heck of a subtitle.
It's kind of a long subtitle. Will of the Wisps probably works better. We'll go with that one.
We'll go.
That one's fine.